So the pay-per-view itself, let's go through this. The pre-show match is going to be Divine Dominion defending the women's tag belts against Thunder Rosa and Olympica. There will not be a title change here.
No, there will not be. Yeah.
Copeland and Cage taking on the Dogs for the AEW tag titles. Now, Copeland and Cage retaining, I think, is fairly much a lock. But I think they are going to work very hard to make the Dogs like the stars of this match. They did that big angle with them, laying them out. And I think it's more so important, the follow-up, that the Dogs don't just become forgotten about after this match, and whether they are kind of in the mix of the tag team scene. Like if you are building to this big ladder match, like if FTR is not back, like do the Dogs, like are they of that level that they'd be in like a multi-team match or something like that? I'm curious to see how much they give for the Dogs, because I think they're going to make them more the focus, and then it's Copeland and Cage getting the win in the end.
Something tells me that I don't think they're at that level. I think they're just like really here to, again, like give a win to Cage and Cope. Like I think the Dogs' actual feud is probably with the Bang Bang Gang. You know, like I see it more being that level of rivalry.
Ways writing them off.
Yeah. So, but you know, that's not to say like they can't gain more status through a program like this. I just don't necessarily see the booking for them being that big. FTR, by the way, are scheduled to be at that Rep Pro show before Forbidden All In. So,
okay,
they're most likely going to be on that show.
I'm going to that show.
Well, yeah, wow, amazing. Yes.
The Young Bucks against Mystico and Mascara Dorada and Shingo Takagi and Teton. I don't care who wins this match. Obviously, the Bucks probably win this match. I think this could be outstanding. I hope it gets like 15 minutes. That's my hope.
Yeah. This is one of those, like, you don't need any story. You just need the names.
Dude, Dorada and Nick Jackson together. I mean, like so many of these combinations.
Shingo
like,
with any of them.
This
would be incredible.
Yeah, this should be a really fun match. And I never worry about matches not getting time on these AEW pay-per-views. Everyone gets time. So this one could end up being 20 for all we know.
This, like, I have very high expectations for this one. Like this should be match of the night. Like,
dude, even Teton, like Teton does not get a whole lot of like shine in New Japan, but like that guy's an excellent performer and rarely gets to show it, but we'll get a lot of eyes on him in this match. And yeah, the Bucks as kind of the quarterbacks of this thing, like this should be really, really solid.
And it'll be the Bucks en route to challenging.
Yeah, that makes all the sense. I think they could do that one in Montreal. I think that makes a lot of sense. Moxley and Bandito. I'm very much looking forward to this one for the Continental Championship. And it's a huge match for Bandito and could set up Moxley going for the ROH title, right?
No,
I
don't think so.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, I think this match, anytime you have a Bandito on a pay-per-view, I think it should be automatically on a list of like your match of the night contenders, or at least like that's the expectation. So, you know, I'm trying to think of like, other than Moxley winning, which, you know, the expectation, like any room for surprise, or we're just looking for like, you know, high quality match. What kind of match do you think they'll have?
I want to see Moxley do some lucha.
You might get a bit of that.
Does Bandito put him up for like a minute in the for the Brainbuster?
Yeah. Well, not a minute, but like
not a minute.
A
45 seconds.
Considerable amount of time. I'm curious to see how the styles mesh here. You know, Moxley between like, yeah, I mean, you know, much more. I would say brawling and technical versus Bandito with his high flying. I'm looking forward to the results.
I'd consider opening the pay-per-view with this.
Yeah.
I think like this could be a great opener. Shota Umino and Pac for the IWGP Global Heavyweight Championship. I don't know what to expect out of this one. Maybe this one is going to be a total sleeper for us, but good or bad, it's really going to be on Shota Umino. I think everyone knows what kind of an opponent Pac is, and Shota Umino, he's got to show off here.
Yeah, I guess so. Honestly, I think this will be a really hot crowd, you know, but I don't know like what the
If they
engagement
punt
is.
this late in the show, this one could be one of those where they're really going to have to work for this crowd, and it might be tougher.
Have we seen Shota like have a singles match on one of these shows, like not attached to Moxley? You know, like what sort of chance? Like how over is he to a non New Japan audience, or at least like a partial New Japan audience?
I don't think it's so much about, amounts of times, but like put it this way. If this was Yuto Ice, I think Yuto Ice would be so over to that crowd in San Jose.
I think
even though
Suji would be.
I think there's plenty of them that would. Shota Umino, I wouldn't I think he's going to be starting from like zero and going to have to work to I don't think he has that same kind of charisma that like a Yuto Ice would, where he comes out and he's just going to get over with his entrance alone, and the crowd has this buzz about him anyway. Yeah, like technically, I think this one will be very good. This one might even surprise, but the idea that this one could fall short as well of any kind of expectations, that's also a very real possibility too.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Tekla against Starlight Kid.
But your prediction? Umino?
Umino, yeah.
Yeah. Same.
Tekla and Starlight Kid for the AEW Women's Championship. I'm really curious to see this one. This is Tony Khan's favorite wrestler outside of AEW against Tekla, who might be his favorite wrestler in AEW. And
one of the pillars of the company.
Yeah, I think this is a very big match for Tekla to be I think a lot of these segments that she has done against Stardom, it's hopefully going to generate a lot of heat in the building. She's got this incredible charisma. She feels she's right at the cusp where a Toni Storm was a few years ago of just breaking through to that next level. I just think they have something really special in Tekla, and we'll see what kind of a match this turns into. Do you involve you kind of have to involve Taro Okada in mm-hmm. some form or fashion, and I think the audience is all aware now of that story. So
yeah. I think in the time that she's held this championship, she has continued to improve, and I think this particular build, where she's basically built the entire feud by herself, at least on the English speaking side of things, really continues to show what value she brings to the company, and what incredible confidence and ability she has to lead a program. So she's already gained a whole lot, I think, through all of this, and the rest is just for the match to really kind of impress, which I think there's a very strong chance it could.
She's got a tremendous opponent in mm-hmm. Starlight Kid, and I think everyone assumes a title retention here for Tekla. The month of June on the Post Wrestling Cafe is going to feature 2 editions of Rewind Away. Already in your feeds is a retrospective on the career of Manami Toyota, plus we are discussing WWE's WrestleMania 33 event from 2017, highlighted by the return of the Hardys, John Cena gets down on one knee, and Roman Reigns attempts to retire The Undertaker. Plus we have coverage this month of New Japan's Dominion card. It's an Ask Away mailbag show as we take all of your questions. I will be sitting down to chat about UFC Freedom 250 with Neil Flanagan, and so much more. All of that can be yours at postwrestlingcafe.com. Mercedes Moné, Maya World in the Women's Owen Hart Cup final. We've gone over this one. I think the key is here to get this one to an emotional high, and I think Maya World can lose this match, and if done right, it's she's the one left in the ring alone, gets the standing ovation, and you have a star coming out of this in Maya World, and she can I think she accomplishes that just as much in losing as if she won. If she won, this would maybe be one of the biggest pops of the whole night. If she did, I don't see them going that extra step with Maya World. I think it's mission accomplished already, and just having a great match here, which I don't think you could ask for a better opponent in the AEW women's roster to go out and have an amazing pay-per-view match with. Yeah.
First of all, I mean, a lot of credit to, I would say, AEW for, taking a terrible situation and at least making something positive out of it, and finding a place for something like this to happen. And as I kind of said previously, it took a lot of things to fall into place just for this to happen. Again, was
These
Mercedes
two weren't in the tournament when it
exactly?
started.
Mercedes wasn't supposed to be in this tournament. Maya World certainly was not supposed to be in this tournament. You know, Saray had to not get cleared. All this stuff. Willow had to.
This could have been Takumi Aroha's tournament.
It could have been. Yeah, really. Yeah, so it's all these things somehow like falling into place to allow for this. And I know there's probably so much demand for Maya World to win this. And if this was the Owen tournament in a vacuum, 100%. But it's not. This is for the biggest women's match of the entire year at Wembley. And for that reason, I just don't see it. Not yet.
Do you think there will be any backlash either in the arena?
Yes, there will be.
Yeah, like that's an interesting point of all of this is like she is by far the most like the sentimental favorite in any of the matches on this show that you know, do you get like AEW does not get like fan revolt type of responses? Like, is that something at play here?
So yes, I also think like if the match is strong enough, I don't think you'll get that. Like, I think AEW should want for some of that revolt because I think it's great for Maya World, you know, to continue to position her as like not just an underdog, but an uncrowned underdog, the type of person that I think, you know, the audiences want to see push more beyond this tournament. So, I mean, number one, they need to have a great match. You know, they need to have the type of match that like will elicit a standing ovation. And for Maya World, you know, to get that profile afterwards would be wonderful. I also look forward to seeing like what the continued Athena interactions will be both on Saturday and also maybe on Sunday as well, because I think that's her ultimate destination, at least in the near future, taking the title off of Athena.
It's also like a long-term story that you could tell of Maya World eventually getting that big win over Mercedes for a championship down the road as well, when, you know, she's further cemented in the division. Kenny Omega and Zack Sabre Jr. Yeah, I mean, this certainly will be in contention for match of the show. You would assume it. I imagine this one getting 25 minutes or so, and I think all roads point to.
Is that too long? 25 minutes, like for a match like Ospreay and Swerve, yes, but like I wonder if this one needs that.
I think this one's getting 25. That's my prediction.
Maybe it's a long show, but yeah, sure.
And then I think Zach wins, takes the title from MJF, and I'm going to headline Wembley, you fuckers.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, Omega pretty much called a shot. He's going to be doing something at Redemption. And
what is the trainer's room segment going to look like on Wednesday?
Probably both guys in much better spirits, I would think, than the last time. So yeah, Omega wins.
Good match. Yeah,
probably. Yeah, hopefully.
Ospreay and Swerve. If that one's going 25, this one's going 30. I think at least.
Yeah,
I think this one's going to get a ton of time. I don't think anyone has a higher expectation level than these two on this. I think people are expecting a match of the year from these two. Mm-hmm. It's going to be a high bar to achieve, but they're certainly going to be in the position to do it. And I think, yeah, I think the key will be, you know, creating a match where the people are biting on the idea that Swerve could win this match. I would have liked them to hit it. You know, it's been brought up, but I think like the story that Swerve headlined Wembley and lost in the main event of Wembley as his big driving force to get back there to Wembley, I think could have been pushed a little bit harder, because I think you're already working from a state that this is Will Ospreay's preordained tournament victory. And that's not the worst thing in the world to have either. It's like it's a babyface everyone wants to see go to Wembley, and I think that's everyone's expectation of this outcome, unless they'll never see it coming. What would be? What would no one predict?
There's always a banana peel situation, yeah, I guess. But it's to me, it's not so much whether or not you know the outcome, but how they get there. And I think they've already done a whole lot more than I was expecting to make me anticipate this match. Again, beyond the outcome, I think like the promo segment last week was just fantastic, and I don't even think they were going to top that. So to not do any talking this week and just let them wrestle in showcase matches, I thought was
they didn't need. They weren't going to top last week.
But the motivation from both of them, I think, is already very clearly stated. And this week was about establishing them as both heel and babyface in the match, and I think this card will be incredibly, incredibly hot for this one, no matter where it is on the card.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure the cage ends, but I would make a strong argument like this closing the show would be the strongest match to close the show with. But regardless, I think this should be blow away great, and maybe Swerve wins, and he announces the ultimate Swerve. I've moved All In away from Wembley. We're going.
Could he do that? Could the Owen Cup winner?
That should be the new stipulation. You get to pick the location of All In.
Where is he going to pick?
His backyard. He's going to rebuild that house that got torched. And,
I wouldn't want however many people showing up in my backyard. Yeah, 20,000. What's the number right now?
It's like 20, 23, 24.
No, sorry. No.
Yeah. And then the cage match, 6-on-6, Team Briscoe against Team MJF. And I guess basically what do you see as the outcome here? And by that question, is Mark Briscoe getting a title match as a result of this? Does he?
It'd be really unusual to make such a big deal out of this, and
be very anticlimactic for him to come up short here. I think you almost have to do that. Like, does Briscoe have to pin MJF? Would that be the strongest way he wins with the J Driller, and then that's the setup for the match?
Yeah, 100%. That's got to be the finish, right?
It almost seems too easy.
Almost seems like that. Yeah. So, beyond that, you're getting Knight versus MJF anyway. You're going to get Andrade MJF at some point. So.
I don't think you can, if we're all going with the assumption of Kenny getting this belt in Montreal.
Yep.
Which means you cannot get all these matches in.
How many weeks are we between now?
It's 4 weeks. I mean, I guess he could, but that, if you
we saw Darby have like 50 matches like in the span of 1 month. They do have Collision as well, right?
Yeah. So
But yeah, some of this could be misdirect, but at the same time, it's unlike Tony to like tease these matches and not deliver on them.
I could see MJF and Briscoe on that Beach Blast show, which is a week from Wednesday. It's in 2 weeks, 2 weeks from today on that Jericho Ciampa show. Like that's a fairly big Dynamite. I could see them doing that one. You could do Kevin Knight in there. Andrade, you would want to do at Arena Mexico, but that's after Redemption. So
right.
Unless you did like Andrade's got the title shot at Grand Slam Mexico, and then when MJF loses it, it turns into Kenny and Andrade at Arena Mexico. You could do that as well.
That'd be sweet too.
Yeah. So you have many options on the table, and ultimately the question is how you get Kenny to be back to get his. How does he maneuver to get his title match in Montreal as well? So. I think there's a lot of intrigue about you'll have Ospreay in the one spot, but then this is the other side of the equation that can go through all these different changes throughout July.
Yeah.
And remember, they added this July pay-per-view with the idea, like, we need that pay-per-view to properly tell and set up All In. So there's a purpose for it. They're not just doing a pay-per-view for the sake of a pay-per-view.
And let's not discount the idea of a multi-person match for the title as well, that Kenny could be a part of, and Andrade, and
that's something we didn't even think about. You're right. You're right. You have all these challengers in the mix. That's another possibility. So how long does this cage match go away? Well, we're
at least half an hour, certainly, like 35, I'm thinking.
Yeah, I think these top 3 matches with Omega, Zack, Ospreay, Swerve, and the cage match, 25 to 40, I see as the range for from Kenny, Zack, and Ospreay, Swerve. Like, this is probably going to take up like the last 2 hours of the show will be those 3 matches, I think. So anyway, where's your hype level for Forbidden Door?
It's strong. It's really good. Again, it's not on the level of maybe one of the other prior AEW pay-per-views this year, but again, the standard of an AEW pay-per-view is already so high that I'm automatically looking forward to it. I think they've done a great job building this main event from honestly out of nothing. This was not something that I think was really something anybody was clamoring for, but I think they've done a great job of just building your interest in it all. And I'm looking forward, you can already see a lot of the pieces being set up for the weeks ahead, certainly for Wembley and also for Redemption, just even in the body of this steel cage match alone, in Knight versus Darby, and again, all the MJF opponents that we mentioned previously. So yeah, they're doing a good job, I think.
Yeah, it looks like a solid show on paper, and probably a few more matches to come.